Hi, everyone. We're going to
Hi.
have a little bit of a slow start this morning because the Mercury Devils had me post 12 a.m. instead of 12 p.m.
And we were all dreaming about the show.
That's right. We were dreaming that you would all come anyway because you'd know better.
That's right. Oh my God. It's too cute.
Wow.
It's so hard when the planets decide to pull the energies all different directions. Because we're
How
used to them
true is
doing a
that?
certain way, right? And
Yeah.
yeah, look. Yeah.
Oh, she can't get in. She's backstage. I don't know. We're having Diana come in. Did Kate resent you the link? I can do the
Let me
same.
do it this way. Let me take a minute out while I bow my head and see if I can get
Okay.
this to Diana while we're
Okay.
live and see how
I'm
we do.
also sending it. I'm also sending it via email. How about that? All right.
Let's
One
see what
of
we can
those
do.
should work. One of
Yeah,
those should work. Anyway,
I'm
in the
really
meantime,
excited. I'm excited that we're doing this topic because I think there's an awful lot of curiosity about it. I think that there's so many examples of when it happens to really famous people, and when it
mhm,
happens to us, that there can be a sense of maybe not even acknowledging that it's real, but it's absolutely real. And
yeah.
premonition of it repeating, or the premonition. Maybe we should even talk about what the defined the premonition category looks like, because that may be something that people are interested as well.
Okay.
And
So first of all, we're back to the Dream Detectives,
yeah,
Aley and Kate. We're going to
yeah,
have Diana come if she can get herself in because she's trying to get in. Mercury retrograde. We've got a lot to, here she comes. We got a lot to talk about. And thanks to those of you who are also in the chat already, we're happy to have you here. We're glad to be here with you. Now we can't hear you, Diana.
hello, hello,
Yep.
can't hear you. Oh, it's happening. Oh, this is so hard.
I know. It's just we just gotta be patient. Yeah.
Mhm.
So hypnicity. We're going to talk about premonition dreams, but I understand why there are some people who have put off wanting to know what they are because they are a bit frightening, especially when you're a kid. Oh
Yes,
my goodness.
yeah.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
lot of the dream work as children is really quite difficult.
It is. That's very true. All right, Diane, you want to try again? Talk.
Oh, that's so cute.
All right.
How about we do
I,
sounds like two syllables,
Go ahead and leave and come back, sweetie. Go ahead and leave. Check your sound, and I'll bring you back in. Yep.
There we go.
Yep.
Oh. Well,
Yep.
we
Oh,
already.
Oh, this is a reason why. Look at that. A
Oh,
dream.
yes.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Yes.
And that would be very frightening
It
for
would be.
a child. Oh my God, you'd almost feel responsible for it in some ways, wouldn't you? Wouldn't you say? Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
No.
No. You have to go all. Oh, she didn't hear me, but you got to go all the way out, Diana. I don't know.
Yeah. The
Anyway,
silent music.
yeah.
I wonder how old she was when that happened. If Alani could tell us how old she was when that
Oh
happened, and
yeah.
if she was close to
Yeah.
her grandmother.
Nalani, how old were you, honey? Were you, 7 or 8? How old were you when this happened to you? All right. I'm going to try her again.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yay!
Not only that, I'm listening on my phone, texting you guys since 2:30 this afternoon, right?
Oh, she's sorry.
You're talking to me while the show has begun. And I'm talking to you out loud, like you can hear me.
We can hear you psychically.
Right.
Oh,
So I get on and you can't hear me anyway.
oh, look at this. So she says, not sure, but your words brought a tear to my eye. Yeah, I think that as a child, anything that happens that we do, like for instance, we might do something and somebody falls down and it was like we stepped in the way, or you know what I mean. We've done something that we didn't mean to do, and we're the fault of it, but it wasn't intentional. And I'm sure that that's sort of in that same category where you wake up and you're like, oh my God, what have I done? And it's got nothing to do with you. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
14.
And at 14, even, 14 is still young. It still has
Very
a
young.
lot of experience. And, a lot of us don't even turn into ourselves until we're much older. So, trying to figure it out or ask questions about it, or why did that happen, or just the grief of losing someone, that you love can totally put a fog over rational thinking or normal thinking.
Well, and I think that Deb H. Purple Elephant talked about it on her channel, where she was doing cards and it portended that her someone was going to die. It was her mother, I believe. I think it was Deb. And she did die, and Deb put those cards away and never touched them again.
That's right. It affected her so
It affected her so much. Yeah.
Dramatically. So I know, Diana, that we've had conversations about premonitions that you've had. Not all of them about people. They could be events that are happening. You want to share with us some of those dreams that you've had, and how did it affect you?
Okay, so let me start with the one that I couldn't remember the last time we appeared together on this show. And Aley, you had heard about this one, and so you were trying to prompt my memory, but it wasn't coming till the show ended, and we weren't even chatting anymore. Okay. So I had just moved back to Michigan, and I stopped to get gas, and I had seen this guy that looked so much like my brother-in-law. I had to talk to him because I couldn't stop looking at him. And he kept like, what's with it? You get that. What did I do look on your face? So I just had to explain. You look so much like my brother-in-law. I need to hear your voice to make sure you're not him. And of course he wasn't. And then that night I had a dream and in this dream, letters started coming to me, and they were my brother-in-law's initials, TB. And every time I turned around, I was getting signals and omens and messages in the clouds. You don't always make something out of the clouds, but when you look up and you see the letter T, and then you see a B again, what is this TB? So I kept associating it with Tom, and I knew that I was going to get a message because I already knew that his health was at risk. So I kept associating it with getting a negative message about him. So many dreams brought this same omen back to me, but it also started introducing the letter J. So Tom is married to a girl, Gail. And Gail, her last name is now Boles. And Gail has a sister whose name is Jane, begins with a J. So this comes through, and 2-3 days after I had the dream with the J being introduced, Gail calls me to tell me her sister Jane has stage 4 liver cancer and cirrhosis of the liver. She won't survive, but they're going to do everything they can to keep her going for as long as they can. So that's the J. Okay, so I'm thinking, but there's still something gnawing at me, and dreams kept bringing Tom to my dream. And the letter J kept coming back. Well, the news about Jane came out. So now I'm anticipating hearing that Jane has passed on. But her treatment was going well, and still is. I mean, she's definitely not going to, live another 10 years, or maybe surprise us and do so.
Mhm.
So the whole year of 2020 went past, and in 21, the same thing. Well, Tom's health got worse. He got a note on a cancer of the thyroid. They decided to do nothing about it. He'd already been through prostate cancer, but they decided to do nothing about it because it was, that real slow growing thing. And he's already in such a compromised state. And Jane was getting better. But now JT was coming along with the TB even more.
Hmm.
So now we're getting to the end of 2021 and it's October. And on 10/10 is when my brother-in-law Tony died, not Tom. And Tony is married to Tom's sister Janet.
So that was the TB, not the
And
other one.
that was
Right.
well, she's the JB.
She's the JB, right?
Right. Janet Boles, because that's her maiden name. Tom's
Right.
sister Janet. But if you look at all of those letters being in that same circle of the Boles tribe and keep coming, it was confusing to pin it down because health issues for two of them. And Janet doesn't have any health issues. Well, Tony had gotten COVID and died from COVID. And nobody expected that to happen. That was clear out of the blue. Nobody actually even knew he went into the hospital. So they're anti-vaxxers and, they probably were just keeping it. And lo and behold.
So let me ask you, Diana, when you got those dreams and you found them confusing, what did you do with the information? Allow it to simmer, or did you reach out to the people that you thought it involved?
I reached out to Gail most of all because telephone, telegraph, and tell Gail.
So, there you go. We have one of those. Every family has one of those.
Right. Yeah. And Janet is she's really, I don't want to say aloof. She has anxiety issues over things, and so you can text her and you'll never hear from her. You can call her and she won't answer the phone, and you don't know why. If she's busy or she just doesn't want to talk, which most of the times it's just she doesn't want to talk.
So I just really wanted to know if having the dreams gave you a sense of anxiety, a sense of peace, a sense of wonderment and curiosity, or whether you went back into your dream state and said, hey, I need more clarity.
I kept going back to the dream state. I'm not, this is nothing new. This has been going on since I was a kid. And I love this calling of mine. So I don't have a problem with it happening. But when it's like, okay, I've got so much of my own crap going on because I had just moved. My husband had just died. I just came back to Michigan.
Right.
I just retired from 25 years of teaching in the same school. So I had my own list of things going on, and it just made it more difficult. Plus, coming to Michigan and shut down. Can't make any new friends, no playmates. Everybody lives an hour away by design,
Right.
So that was the first one that happened since I moved back here. And I think that prevented clarity from coming to me because I was so close to the situation and so inundated with unpacking and, sorting through and where does this fit in? And like, I'm just starting to feel like this is my home,
Yes.
Sure.
Right. Yep. Exactly. And when you share this information with your family, are they open to receiving it as true, or are they going, oh, there she goes again?
Well,
well, I get those rolling eyes a lot. So
I just will say both. She'll go, there she goes again, and go, but she will go, well, did you know? And then she'll tell me something else, that fits in with the scenario. And so she doesn't disregard it by any means because they know, the kids know.
Yeah.
I've read cards and do astrology charts for them and all that stuff. So
It's always nice to have validation to know that what you're experiencing is perceived by others as real and
Mm-hmm.
legitimate, and that you're not rolling your eyes, you know. And so that's part of the thing that I love about the community is that there are mutual experiences happening all over the
all the
place
time.
where
Yeah.
we can support each other by saying,
Right.
"Yeah, that's real. Yes, it is happening." So let's see what Kathy N says.
Well, in fact, so, my husband was pretty sick and hadn't passed yet. And I called Gail and said, "What's going on with Tom?" And she said, well, we just got back from having tests and he has prostate cancer. So,
Ah,
it was,
yes. Yeah.
so
There's
here
more than
right
one.
now.
There was more than
Right.
one message.
Right.
Definitely. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. In Kathy N, thank you for sharing what you've shared about your mother coming to you, about your husband going to pass. I understand in a way why you would bolt out of that dream, because you wouldn't want to know that. And yet, look at how kind it was for your mother to come to you and give you preparation in some regard for that. That's amazing. Yeah.
Right. So I often wonder with the premonition whether it's a warning, whether it's a warning that, I'll get ready. Is your to-go bag ready? Or is it a message of compassion that says something's coming up?
Yeah.
We want to let you know that this is coming up so that you will have time to let your heart catch up with what it is you're hearing. And
Right.
then perhaps there'll be some ease or lessen of the drama for whatever the experience is.
Very
Because
definitely.
I do believe that our spirits and our guides and our ancestors and even our relatives that are on the other side try to help us have this experience be the best that it can be, that it can be happy and filled with joy. And, we're human beings and these are not meant to last forever. So if there are if there are moments that come up because we have to say, I'll see you soon. I'm not going to see you tomorrow, but I'll see you soon. That can be a really, really difficult experience in the human part of being human, right?
Right.
So, yeah,
But
it's a process.
it is the end result.
Yeah, that's what's going to happen. So we should
Didn't
say
she
hi
say
to
too?
everyone.
Oh yeah, we should say hi. I just want to mention that Diana said that she also got other signs outside of dreams, I believe. Isn't that right?
Yeah.
And so you can get them while you're sleeping, but then there's different other things that might come up that also add to that. Yeah.
Absolutely. So you should be looking outside of that dream the next day, following days, that are
Right.
verification for things
Right.
that you saw in the dream.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like case in point, the T and the B in the clouds. Two separate clouds. And it's like
Two bellies.
it was and nobody else might have even recognized
Correct.
it as
Correct.
being
Or a
the B.
song that might come on that no one else would know.
And
Right.
the fact that you were there at that moment to see that and to have that vibration delivered to you, that frequency delivered to you, is
Right.
your verification code. Nobody else has to pick up on it because it's your code, your
It's for
secret
you.
code, just
That's
as
right.
your dreams are your secret codes.
And that's part of when I wanted to explain what the definition of the premonition dream. It is aspects of an event that couldn't possibly have known ahead of time. That there are moments and fragments of pieces coming together like a film strip that would show you an event that you would not have ever have had access to prior to dreaming the dream. And then when it does happen, the confirmation is there because it seems so incredibly impossible that could have been real when it absolutely is the real thing coming out in front of you, just as it was in the dream. And there are a lot of scientists looking into whether or not premonition dreaming is a legitimate science, whether or not there's actual testing that can be done to see how that can happen and to verify it in the scientific realm. But I kind of think that that's a message between two hearts and that the scientists need to just let it happen. So, we're grateful. We're grateful for the connection that we have with our guides and our angels, and knowing that they want to have, our best experience is the reason for them contacting us. Is a very sweet thing, even though the experience of what they're showing us can feel really dramatic.
Can feel disturbing. Yeah.
And sometimes it just buffers that shock.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because
it does.
that the shock in itself can knock you off balance.
Mm-hmm.
But in all things, if you're prepared for that particular moment, you've already gone through the worst in your mind.
Yes.
Right.
So it can't be any worse than what you've already imagined.
Exactly.
I have to tell you that I was surfing the other day, and I came across Eben Alexander, who was a doctor who wrote a book about near-death experience.
Oh.
And he's a surgeon, like medical mind, scientific, and everything. And in his discussion, he goes to the other side, he sees all these other things. And I know that's not exactly the same as a dream, but a lot of people equate it to something like that. And he said it has nothing to do with my scientific mind. And so it's moving away from that.
That's nice.
And so I'm pleased that actually Spirit is bringing these two people like him, because it validates the fact that, it isn't just a scientific thing.
And he is the doctor who experienced it himself, right?
Yes, he did.
Okay.
Yes. Uh-huh. Yeah. He had a meningitis or something. He had really bad. Yeah.
Right.
Scientists are observers who try to ascribe logic. That's very, very true. And Eben Alexander decided not to. He decided to say, this is beyond what I can describe.
Right. Yes. Exactly. I had a premonition dream on the night of September 10th.
Uh-huh.
So, that escalator scene where Trump is coming down the escalator, right?
Yes.
And you have to admit that the lighting had this golden effect to it, probably because of something Melania was wearing. I don't know. Mm-hmm. So in my dream, I'm coming down this escalator, and I was, I'm the organizer of an event, right? Of this big event. And I get to the bottom of the escalator, and then there's a stairway, as often there is, right? So I have this, like, I don't know, it was like a Hawaiian straw band around my head. And I'm dressed in this choir robe, and I'm descending down these escalators. And then I get to this, here we go again. I get to the stairs, and I come on down, and I am greeted by this guy that I'm working with here. Which hand is holding that? Right? Here we go. Falling out of my
other one.
Yeah. So, oh my God, here goes the dyslexia. If you lose me, it's because. So he's very official. He's very, I don't want to say military, but very government, like Men in Black, but Men in Black. Yeah. And he reaches into his pocket, and he pulls out a guitar pick, and it's wrapped in cellophane, which they never do that. They're sweaty and dirty. That's it. That's all. Right. So he gives it to me, and this is like my key. And when I looked at the guitar pick, there was a key on it. So then I'm just standing at this window, and I see all these airplanes, and I see one in particular. Now, I used to live by Dulles in Virginia. The next day, you know what was in the news? A picture of Trump underneath all the airplanes with the stuff.
That's right.
That was
they brought him there before they took him to Bedminster.
That's
before
right.
he went to bed.
And that's where, and I knew I was at Dulles because I've been at Dulles a million times.
Sure.
Right.
Yep.
So and the other thing, Trump's a Gemini. So am I.
Yeah.
And so I was running the event from the government side, anti-Trumper, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm bearing witness to this, but it's the night before the news came out. So it was probably
Right.
actually the day it happened.
Sure.
Wow.
Sure.
Yeah. Interesting.
And
Yeah.
you know, we
That's,
do, and we do associate that escalator with him.
oh,
I
yeah.
was thinking you were going to tell me that some toilet paper stuck on his shoe got caught and he got pulled in.
Well, on the other hand, the whole pile was there.
I think the
That sounds
Lincoln,
about right.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think the Lincoln Project has that film clip on repeat.
Right.
That one
Yeah.
and another one I'm not even going to go into. But you know,
Yeah.
if we think about the famous premonition dreams, let me just mention one right off the bat because I know that Aley and I were talking about earlier, and that was Abraham Lincoln, where
Mhm.
it's actually documented the days before he died. He had a dream that he was walking through the corridor of the White House, and there were medical teams, and someone was draped. That there was a drape over a body in the room, and then he turned to the
Mhm.
guard and said, "What's happened here?"
Who
And
is
the
dead
guard,
in the White House? Yeah. Who is dead in the White House?
yeah,
That's
he
right.
said, "Sir, you've been shot." I mean, the guard
Right.
actually told him to his face,
Yeah.
"You have been shot,"
Right.
which was documented in his writings,
Yeah.
and I found that fascinating that even though he took the time to write about it, even though that it was on his mind when he woke, and that it was a dramatic dream, and that it was startling and quite shocking, the
Mhm.
fact that he wrote it down didn't stop him from living his life
Right.
as he knew it was to be lived. That he continued with his routine, even though he had this forewarning through his dream that
Mhm.
something was going to end, that he was going to be hurt and shot and die. And I really found that fascinating. Do you guys
Oh
have
yeah.
any
First
about
time I read that, I was goosebumps. You know, I couldn't.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It was
right?
amazing.
And Mary Todd too. She had premonitions about it.
Oh, okay.
And
I didn't know she did.
there was another, wasn't it not Alexander Hamilton. Oh come on. One of the other founding fathers' wives
Oh,
had premonitions.
Dolly
John
Madison,
Adams, or no, it was John Adams' wife had premonitions.
Abigail.
Abigail,
Yeah.
yes, she had premonitions, and those were in her documented diaries as well,
Mhm.
Wow.
about
Amazing.
how they were going to end up in stuff like that.
Yep. Yeah, it does. You're right. Exactly. And remember that dream that I had in '88, where I was sitting up beside my brother and my father. Now, my other brother wasn't there, but we
Oh,
were sitting
yes.
on the funeral wagon, the black old-fashioned funeral wagon with the horses in the front.
Oh my
And
God.
I'm going down the road with my brother, and I thought one of them was going to die. And the next
Wow.
day, my mother died. It was my mother that left. So we
Oh,
were all mourning together, but I didn't connect the dots. And then, of course, I was shocked and so on, but I wasn't surprised because, like you say, I had that premonition
yeah.
and I knew something was going to happen. Mhm.
So this message chat that you've posted there, Aley,
Mhm.
is my twin brother. Hi,
Welcome,
Dale.
Del. Yeah, we're glad you're with us.
Oh,
Yeah.
hi, Sal.
Here
Yeah.
he is.
Yeah.
And he's absolutely right. The premonition definition means it is going to take place.
That's
That
right.
is what it is about. It is going to
Yeah.
take place. We were talking about deja vu being a memory of something happening within a dream. And
Yep.
the French talk about it that you've done it before. So whether or
Mhm.
not you're doing it before in this lifetime or in a previous
Right.
lifetime, that
Yep.
deja vu moment. So the next one that I wanted to talk about to you was Mark Twain, and maybe
Mhm.
Mark Twain's experience is not as well known as Abraham Lincoln, where he had a dream that his brother was being buried in a metal casket.
Oh.
And he thought this was really strange because people were never buried in metal. They were
Right.
buried in wood. And he was trying to interpret it. Was it symbolic? And later, 2 days later, discovered that his brother had passed. and he got notified that a good friend of his brother wanted to honor him by burying him in a metal casket.
Of course.
Right? I mean, to
Yeah.
the letter, the dream was to the letter. You know, so
Right.
here's another really famous person, you know,
Yeah.
sharing the premonition aspect of their life, that they had this premonition.
Right.
And then, of course, the last one that I wanted to bring up was Princess Diana, and how she shared with her astrology friends, with her writings, that she knew she was going to die in a car crash. And, you know, how publicly announced these have been over time. They have been announced. Here's this big announcement, this big announcement, this big announcement. And so
Right.
what I would like to offer is that spirit and guides are confirming that our lives have a path. It's not random.
It isn't
There
as
is
random
a
as we think.
trajectory. Right. There is a trajectory. There is a journey. There is, you know, a score that's going on for your life. You do matter. There's a reason you're here. And in the premonition is a confirmation. Look, here's confirmation. This matters. You matter, because your life has a path to go on. We know what that is because of the sacred contracts that you've already made before you came. And so we're just going to remind you that that's the reason we're giving you a premonition, so that you always remember that, yes, this path has steps and turns and twists, and will come into fruition the way that it's meant to come into fruition. So to me, it was like, well, wait a minute. What if it's not supposed to be scary? What if it's just supposed to be a simple reminder that it matters, that it's important, and that we share the time together in between that film strip and the time that we say we'll see you later? You know, that we really do enjoy every minute of it. That it is shocking. so I can't understand.
It's not always about death either, right?
Right.
Just like
that's right.
I just had, you know, although death becomes such a all-consuming emotion for everybody, right?
If we could only just talk about it, if we could only just, I sat down with my brother and his wife for lunch when I was home, and I said, let's talk about the elephant in the room. We're not getting any younger. I don't know if I'll be back here. I don't know if I'll ever see you again, you know, without being morbid. I said, I don't want to be morbid, but let's talk about this, because this is important. This is important stuff. We have to say what we want to say before it's too late. And that could be at any age, really.
Yes. Yeah. And I do think that, you know, Del may have a point, that if in your plan, in your life, if you do have the premonition, and that there is an opportunity for you to accept it and ask for more time, or ask to change the contract, or ask to, you know, have more information about that journey, that is also very possible. I believe in that. I believe that there is that you can ask for that extension or even destination change. You know, because you know, people's lives do that all the time, where they, you know, they start out one thing and they end up going, you know, a completely different direction.
And Andrea Galvin talks a lot about the fact that we have different exit points as well. And that can change.
They can be found in your astrology chart as well.
That's true. Very, very true. Thank you, Diana.
Which brings me to one thing. Can I reiterate something that I said yesterday?
Of course you can. Yes.
So when I was talking about the quincunx that is about to happen between Uranus and the Sun, with Sun in Libra, and in that quincunx, and I was telling the story that it's like two people going to sit down at a dinner table that you would never expect to see together. And yet they end up being pushed together, and the through the conversation they find out that they have a couple of things in common. And in the case of the Sun and Uranus, what I was trying to say, Uranus is a fixed planet. It controls a fixed sign of Aquarius. And the sun is a fixed planet and has that same rising tension. It's got to be my way. The sun controls a fixed sign of Leo. And so yesterday I said Libra, and then no, Libra's a cardinal, not a fixed sign. Blah, blah, blah.
No worries. No
we
worries.
have two planets that control fixed signs that are going to be on the full moon. They're going to be in a position where their common ground is community. And so through this quincunx, though it may be a challenge to get the story started, they will be able to come to an understanding that they both had the same intention for community to come out of this. There. I feel better now.
Okay, awesome.
I wasn't holding my sucky blanket here. And I had this in my hand, and the blah, blah, was just pouring out of my mouth. So I apologize for yesterday.
Not a problem.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
You know, so premonitions that we know of as dreams. There's a lot of us people here, especially and in the community, who have lucid dreams. And that can happen in the middle of the day, right? When you take that 10-minute cat nap and the power nap turns into this big, whoa, what just happened, right? So I was in one of those moments. And in that moment, I saw, one second, let me get these pictures back up. This spider web that was covered in dewy crystals and all of these umbrellas. And then one of the umbrellas, I saw this big building, and then people in a trench coat standing with umbrellas, and all of this other stuff that just kept taking me back to this big empty area with all these people standing around and umbrellas and raindrops and crystals and spider webs. And what it was shortly after that came the message that the Queen had passed.
Oh.
And the picture that came up on the news flash with that was exactly what I had been seeing in that lucid moment. And the spider web that had the crystals in it was an umbrella that was extra large that had the British
Union Jack. Union
Jack on top of it, and it was filled with drops of rain.
Wow.
And so that was the spider web that I had seen because of the way it was shaped and where the white was, etc.
And so, I think of the idea also, the tears. The tears.
Yeah.
The tears.
Absolutely. And then there was a guy who was in this beige trench coat in the picture as well. So
So I've had some premonitions come and didn't know I had them until then. For instance, I remember going to take a loan application for this fellow a number of years ago, and it was at a condominium place. And I just felt like I was going to live there. But I didn't know why. And I did end up living there with him, actually, because he was he was my third husband. But I've had that happen many, many times where, you know, you've probably heard people would say, who would have thought when I was here on this day that I would be back here this day or whatever. But I really do believe that those things are premonitions.
Yes.
And we just don't know that maybe until later. It's kind of like that deja vu idea. Some people think we can split into different dimensions or something else, but I'm thinking we just may have had this dream, whether it's a daydream or a night dream, that we didn't remember. And here it is again. And now we remember it. Yeah.
You know, and I think that when that happens, that, you know, that we should give ourselves pats on the back for having having the discernment to remember and to connect with it again, because those types of confirmations are really very, very awesome in inspiring you that you are on the right path, that this is part of the plan, and that what you're doing is the right way, that you're going in the right direction for what you set out to do in that initial journey plan, whatever that plan was. But it is something I think that for a long time people were afraid to talk about, partly because it's a difficult subject just to understand. Is this symbol or is this real? And
True,
and,
because they can be both. They can be both different
they
things.
can be both. Yes, absolutely.
I think we should talk about the fear, though, because I think that Hypnicity mentioned it, but she was a kid. But I still think that there are people that are older that shut down their abilities because they either have a fear or a confusion around it. And I wonder what you ladies want to say about that, if anything.
Well, I'll jump right in if you want.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure. Yeah. So my understanding is that the dream state puts us in the angelic realm. It puts us in touch with spirit. Okay.
Okay.
And that in that environment, the people that have signed up to help you are signed up for your lifetime. I don't know a single person that lasts the whole lifetime. Del might, because he's my twin. But for a whole lifetime is a really long commitment.
It
right?
is a long commitment.
Commitment. In itself, the loyalty shows so much love. It shows so much dedication, right? So much purity of exactly that connection. That I believe they would not present something in a scary way unless we're not paying attention. And if we're not paying attention, they want us to remember, and then they'll create a way for us to remember. But within each of those scenarios is that supportive love of saying, we love you. This is a good thing. This is a good thing that we are connected. This is a good thing that we are sharing and learning and discovering, right? It's really the discovery of the adventure. But that the source of it comes from the heart. It comes from the love. So
I love that. I love that. Yeah,
so,
I do.
For me, there really isn't anything scary either in the dream state or in the awake state because there's so surrounded.
We're the only ones that are we're the ones doing the fear.
Create it. It's like Robert Moss's daughter said the night that she had this big old dinosaur monster come to her in a dream. No, it was a monster, a big old ugly monster came to her in a dream, and she had woken her dad up, who is Robert Moss, at like 4:00 in the morning, and he goes, "Oh, that's bad. What happened? What did you do?" She said, "I just put on my dinosaur costume and scared him right back." If you feel that,
oh my gosh, that's so perfect.
You can be cognizant of that even in your dream state, because remember when we had discussed this before, particularly when you ran the class on it, on how you can leave a dream, get up and do your business and come back and pick the dream up and change
you can
it.
Sometimes. Yes, you can. Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Unless you really want to. If I'm having a dream about this really romantic situation, no offense to my husband, but I can never get that back. It's like, where did that guy go?
Well, you know how that goes. There's always a culmination.
Yep.
Just have a cigarette.
I don't think any of us smoke, do you? No.
Not anymore.
No.
But why did I have my pack of Cools then?
Yeah.
You know that cool spelled backward is look.
Ooh. Oh my gosh.
It's like the old joke, do you smoke after sex? And somebody says, well, I've never looked.
Well,
yeah.
Michigan has
Michigan used to have
its own brewery called Stroh's. Stroh's spelled backward is shorts.
Oh.
So they've revived the name, and their small IBC kind of brew are called shorts. So like there's strawberry beer and apple beer and all kinds of crazy beers like that. Those are the ones that they release under the short, which is Stroh's spelled backwards. So.
Awesome. So yes, Craig, Ross Martin would have been on what was that show? Wild Wild West, I believe.
Yep.
Isn't that right? Isn't he the actor
Yeah.
from Wild Wild West? So you
Was
had
that
him
Artemis
passing.
Gordon?
Okay. Yeah.
Was that Artemis?
Maybe. Yeah. It's one of those two guys.
Yeah, he
At
was
5:00, he heard he passed, and I asked to shut it off. Nothing happened to Clara. Yeah, okay. That's right. He was. And then what about poor Wally Dow? Here he is. They had this premonition he was going to die, and then they said he died, but he hadn't died yet, till the next day, right?
Wow.
I know.
Wow.
Can you see that? That's Ross.
Yes. Yep. I see it. That's exactly who I thought it was. Yep. Thanks, Greg. Wow. Oh, Tony Dow, not Wally. Okay. Thank you.
I used to love that show. I used to love Wild
Did you?
Wild West.
Yeah, I wish they'd bring
I mean,
it
who
back.
didn't, right?
Westworld's good, but it's not the Wild West.
Yeah, I think there was a big argument going on in the chat a while back between which one was better, Adam West or Adam Cartwright. And then somebody came in, well, what about Superman? What was Adam's name? The actor for Superman.
Adam West was
Batman.
Was
was Batman. The first Batman on TV was Adam West.
Oh, okay. So it was for Robert Conrad's character, then is what they were talking about between the two, between the actors, which one was better. But.
I don't like him because he's got that battery thing. Knock it off, knock that battery right off my shoulder.
We need to do a game show, Aley. That would just be so much fun. That would be so much fun. We should do that. We should do a game show. Yeah, I don't know if it'll relate to Premonition.
If we get into old TV shows,
Tracy.
It'll never be done.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of people in the show we should say hi to.
That's true. We need to do that. Tracy just came in. Hi to Keith, Sherry,
Angela,
Craig.
Andrea. Yep. Craig.
Pierrette.
Yep. Lots of folks saying hi today.
Ricky, Vicky, and of course your brother Del, and Angela is here, and Marby is here or was here at least, and I'm going to be on Sherry's show tomorrow night. Sherry, Voices from the Swamp. So you have to come over and check us out. Dream Journey 1. Thank you, Teresa Tack.
Yeah.
Teresa K.
Yep. Kathy, of course.
Hey,
Andrea. Andrea.
Yep.
Thank you all for everybody being here today. Absolutely. We would love to have you share any premonition dreams that you might have. I did have somebody write me and tell me, and I wish I could remember who it is, that they had a list of people in their neighborhood that passed, and they had 12 people that they thought were going to pass, and they all passed. And so if that person hears this, please let me know again so we can have you come on, because I'd love to hear all about that. I really would.
Yeah. Right. That's an incredible circumstance.
I know. Yep. George Reeves was TV Superman. That's right. Yep. And here's some of the other Supermans. Yeah, thank you.
Awesome.
So, Kate, any premonition dreams on your part?
I don't remember the premonition dreams. I just know that when I wake up in the morning, my cheeks are wet from crying. So I have often had experiences where I can just share a simple one with you, where I was worried about my kitty, who was not living with me at the time, and someone else was taking care of the kitty, and I was waking up with this tears all over my face, and John was like, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Something in my dreams." And the next day it would happen again, and then it would happen again, and then John got word that Maxie had passed. The kitty had passed away, and I said, "I know, that's what the dream was." And so for me, it's quiet. It's not it's not something I wake up and go, "Oh my gosh," because for some reason they put a shield up that says, "No, she can grieve with us." like it's almost like I'm grieving with my spirit guides and angels, like they're holding me while I'm grieving in that space.
It's an arrangement you made, it sounds like.
Yeah. So there have been times in my life where that happens, where I do wake up and know, something's up. The most recent one was when John's sister passed away, because I knew the time was close. I was waking up with tears on my cheeks, and we knew that she was in hospital, but thought she was coming home, and I knew she wasn't coming home. So, but I have a really strong faith that we do see each other again, and that we continue.
Oh, me too.
Yeah. And so, it's part of this experience. And in some ways, I'm very grateful that I don't remember it during the day, that it is somewhat private, or, just the way they've chosen to share the information to me. Because sometimes my dreams can be pretty out there.
But they're so much fun.
Yeah. It's really fun to try and uncover them and to make sense out of them, and then to see how they fit in the reality of life. And so for me, the mystery of it all is just so much fun to uncover the symbols and the meanings, and and then the connection. So I just absolutely adore it. I adore it.
Wow.
Yeah. Premonition.
Yeah.
Well, and it's like how this all started with the dream detective, right? We program ourselves and use our dreams to get to the heart of a matter.
Right.
That we try to make sure that when we go into the dream state at night, can you give me information about? I mean, you've done that. I've done that. And I know, Aley, you've done that as well.
Yeah.
And I've done it with other people sharing.
Yes, you have. You've had very good luck with that. Yes.
Yes, I have.
Yes, you have. Yeah. Yep.
Now I have another thing. It's not about the premonition, but in some ways it can relate the same. The other night I had a confirmation about a past life.
Oh.
Now, you know how sometimes you just have this feeling that you were da 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 in a past life.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when this dream, now before I go to sleep, I always call in my guides and ask for blessings and the blue bubble that shrinks to protect, and bless the neighborhood, my neighbors, their homes, keep everybody safe, and then call my guides in and bless the dog, both of them. And and I said, I would really like just some kind of I don't care, just give me a good dream, please. And that night I dreamt that it was me being called Diana, a Roman female warrior.
Wow.
And well, my name is Diana. I do like Wonder Woman. Born on June 9th. My mom's pretty savvy, Saint Diana's feast day is June 9th. I mean, oh my gosh. So it was one thing to have that dream once, but got up, did my business, went back to sleep without any whatever I was going to dream, if I was to have any more dreams. And it took me back to finish the battle.
Wow.
And the thing is I'm descendant of the last king of Poland. And we know that our name Poniatowski started and was brought to Poland by an Italian woman. And she took it there in the 1500s.
Wow.
So was it something to do with knowing that information, or was it truly confirmation? So if we think of how time is not linear, it's an orb, and that it is ever happening all the time. That sounds weird, doesn't
And
it?
I thought you were asking for a fun dream.
For her, it was fun.
Oh my gosh, you're finishing a battle and that's fun?
The goddess Diana. I mean, there were no wounds on me.
Okay.
Mhm.
You know,
So
well,
Yeah.
that's not true. I also got to the heart of a wound in my leg,
Ah,
which brings me to a Reiki situation that showed me the same thing about something else on my left leg. Now, this wound on my right leg happened, the injury in this life happened like back in 2016. And I've been battling with this psoas baloney where I just overwrenched doing a yoga move because, like the old man on Laughing, who always fell over on his tricycle, I'm trying to pull out on my motorcycle. Here comes a car zooming up the street.
Yeah.
And I know she doesn't see me because she's coming around this big curve that's on our street. So the wheel's cocked, it's in gear, and I'm going over, and I got 700 pounds of motorcycle underneath me, and there's nothing I can do to stop it because I was getting ready to pull out. So I had a fire hydrant and my mailbox right there. So I did this whatever yoga move and got my foot stuck up on the engine and, you know, wrenched the psoas and pulled all of that in there. And I've been battling with this thing since 2016 and working on, you know, mind over matter and stuff like that. Well, Angela Cardamancy has been a great help giving me long distance Reiki treatments because I don't have anybody here that I can go to get a hands on. And there has been great progress through skills. And the night that I had that dream, I knew that this is the original
wound.
The original wound. And you carry them with you from past lives. You re-injure the same place over and over again. It's the tender place that you're born with. It's the weak spot. It's the soft teeth that, you know, you never have
the Achilles heel. Our Achilles heel.
Right. You know, it's the same cavity your mother had when she was the same age. Tooth grew back right and blah, blah, blah. You know, I mean, it's that kind of stuff. So if this is how time repeats itself to bring you back to the memory of it, which puts you back in the forward of this is how it happened, this is why it keeps happening, is it going to happen again in the next incarnation? You know? So these are multiples of that circular time frame.
Sure.
Because we are the ones who make it linear.
So really, when you think about it, if you have dreams at all that you can remember and work with, you have that part of you that's a psychic. That's a psychic. You're a psychic. There's just different manifestations of being able to get that, tapping into that energy. And one of them happens to be dreams. And of course, premonitions would be definitely psychic and or past life in your case. So
Wiki was asking if she could ask a question. Are you guys open for, you know?
Oh, I did say she could. Yeah, a couple times. So put it up there, girl.
Let's see what she's got for us today to unravel. Let me get my detective magnifying glasses.
Get your deer hunter hat on.
Yeah, maybe I should change my glasses. Too much fun. Too much fun. I love having these conversations.
Deer stalker. That's what it's called, the deer stalker. Can you tell I got caught in the rain 2 days in a row? Yesterday and today.
Uh-oh. We won't tell.
Okay.
We won't. We'll put the filter on.
I was going to put makeup on, but I only had time for a cookie.
No worries. Never a worry. I just put lipstick on. That was all I did.
Wow.
You know what they say? You can put lipstick on a pig, but it's still a pig.
Now.
Stop.
But we're going to try, now that the fall is here, we're going to try to have more shows when possible. So, you know, it's really hard in the summertime, I think. But more people are inside. in the wintertime.
Well, when you ride a Harley, you hear that a lot about pigs.
I bet you do.
Well, there's Geek Hillbilly. We should say hi to Geek Hillbilly.
Yes. Hi, Keith. I'm
Yep.
glad you had your supper in the oven. Hi, Kiba. Nice to see you.
Yep.
I don't know if Wiki's still here. If you are, Wiki, yes, pigs are good people. You're right, Catelyn.
Does anybody else have a dream from the chat that we can answer a question?
Yeah. Does anybody have any questions
Anybody else
before
have
we
a
sign
question?
off? Yeah.
We
Oh,
can-
thanks, Tracy. Yeah. Thanks so much. We'll give you just a few seconds to see if anybody has anything to say. I have to tell you, the third dog. No, I did not see it. I have not seen it, Wiki. You know, that happens. It plays tricks on us. So put it back in. So today, you know about my first dog. You know about my second dog. Everybody's fine. I just want to say that right now. But on my way to get coffee, there was a dead dog on the side of the road.
Oh, no.
And I thought to myself, it is something that really upset me because I love animals so much, and the poor thing. And I thought to myself, that could have been one of my animals. And so in a way, that was my third omen, I felt like. And it was, you know, I'm going to say that it was my third omen because I don't want any more of this, you know.
Right.
But
maybe it's all done now. Right.
Maybe it's
all
done.
done now. It's all done now.
And the close calls for your precious pups.
Yeah. Yep. That one couldn't be saved for some reason. I don't know. And it was I just felt horrible. I couldn't when I left, I couldn't come back that way. I had to go all the way around because I get myself so, you know. Oh,
Hi,
that's
Lisa.
nice, Lisa. Yeah,
Hi,
Kate,
Lisa.
that was nice of you to do. Yeah.
Well.
Yeah. I'm still not seeing this question, Wiki.
Maybe it's hard to write.
Say it out loud. Maybe we can pick it up. How psychic are you?
Yeah, we got Diana earlier. Sure, we can do it. It's so silly.
If you guys want to ask questions that we can bring up on the next show,
right,
that are long,
yeah,
or you have a dream that you would like us to look at, Kate will take your questions at thedreamdetectives@gmail.com.
yeah.
And she will bring them in and we can try to answer them for you, because I know it's too hard to just write in the chat. Yeah.
I don't
or
know
if you want to come on.
Yes, or if you want to come on, that's also really, really fun. And I don't know how many times I've written something on a chat and then hit send and looked at it later and went, wait a minute, it's missing a letter.
There it is.
Yeah, Lisa, you're right though. You're right. Some people have had to put it in 2 or 3 times, and it's wonky because of Mercury, I'm guessing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did that, Craig. I sent aho to the animal, which is to release that animal to spirit. Yeah.
Okay.
So I had this dream
Have you?
all through my childhood.
Oh.
All through my childhood, over and over and over again. Wiki, I'm like in my 70s and a product of a father who was a veteran from World War II. And a career was going on while I was in grade school, in first grade and stuff. So war was ever prevalent in my childhood. But I swear that the dream that I kept having was because I was this young person running through the fields, being bombed and diving under trees and running through wheat fields and, just dropping bombs over and over like you saw in the films. Now, it wasn't just because my dad was still a Sunday armchair soldier. It was because this was the life I had been in.
Sure.
So it doesn't surprise me that I showed up with this Roman warrior.
Right.
So I would say yes. When it keeps coming to you like that, especially when you're younger, because your soul hasn't been that long.
Right. You haven't been that far away from it. And I don't know if you ever watched the movie Patton that was on many years ago. but Patton had these dreams and had these past life memories. He thought he was Hannibal. He thought it was all these different generals and everything. And so, it's very possible that, yes, you were there.
Right.
You were there.
George C. Scott.
Yep. Yep.
And I think that the fact that they're coming back, that you're remembering that is an important step in trusting that you can heal that you can have that be healed from that lifetime to this one. And then, they may be showing it to you again so that you will take the opportunity to say, I finished that one. We can close the book on that one. Let's heal whatever wounds we're bringing into this one and start afresh with whatever this lifetime is for you, because it can be paralyzing. It can create a block within your energy field where you would really not even know maybe that it's there, but there can be strange things that keep happening, and it's because that block hasn't been acknowledged and cleared. So if you have someone that you trust that you could work with to figure that wound out and heal it and allow it to be gone, allow it to be done, you'll discover the dreams will stop because you'll have solved it.
Or you finish up whatever it is. I remember I never finished college. I had 20 credits. It took me 6 more years to do it. I don't have that dream anymore, but I was sitting there. I was afraid. I forgot to drop a class. I didn't do it in the right time period. And that dream went away after I graduated. So I understand. Yeah.
Well, and amazing.
Yeah.
It also can teach you the warning signs in present day.
Sure.
And how to take those to heart to calm the angst that comes with the times we live in.
Right.
And can you even think of a time when we didn't live in rhetoric and turmoil?
Right. Yeah.
I can't.
It's funny you say that, because today I was reading an article that said young people have been traumatized by COVID and this and that, and over the last few years. And I said, when haven't young people been traumatized by something? Because we've all grown up in a different time, but we've all had I grew up being traumatized by ducking cover. I was right off the coast where the Cubans were going to come and kill us, or the Russians or whatever. And I'm not negating that they're not traumatized.
Right.
But it's just,
everybody
you're right.
has a battle.
Everybody has a battle.
My teenage years were the Battle of Vietnam. My dad's teenage years, the Battle of World War II.
Right.
The 5-year generation between me and my dad went to Korea.
Right.
Correct. Or Vietnam.
Yep. Wiki said that she hasn't had a dream in a while, which may mean that she and her team have healed it.
Have worked it.
It has been healed. Right. And that, that is an awesome pat yourself on the back, because that is a really good thing.
Sure. Full acknowledgement.
That. Right. And not bring it into the next lifetime. So really quickly, I just wanted to say hi to Janet P., who has, joined us this afternoon. Hi, Janet. And I remember when my daughter was born, when Francesca was born, her father was from Guatemala. Her grandfather was from the Middle East. And here was this child that was laying in my arms from traveling, one generation traveling 6,000 miles and the other generation traveling 3,000 miles for me to hold this beautiful young child in my arms, and had heard a story about how most of the world was under bombs and fire and revolutions and government changes, and that the children growing up wouldn't understand what it was like to take their teddy bear and say their nightly prayers and go to bed and be safe in their beds. And that storyline, I think it was like even, public, PBS or something, but it really stuck with me. Maybe I was, postpartum or something. Maybe my hormones were really off, but I remember thinking that was a burden for her, and as her, I was my first child, and I went to my mom and I asked her, I told her the scenario. I said, Mama, what can I teach my daughter when there aren't bullets and there aren't bombs and there aren't these things? And my mom looked at me with the most beautiful smile and she said, "Sweetheart, you teach her how to love, because that's the only answer.
That's the only thing, right?
That's the only answer, is how to
So,
love." And
right.
it truly is that the more we put that out there, the more that some of that can have some peace.
Yeah, it's true.
So I just was like, really, it's that easy? Okay. Isn't it funny how you can have, these long connections of where you end up or how your family grows or where it's come from? And, like even Diana was sharing about, her family heritage coming across oceans and, and being there, and, and how that connection of family and the ties and everything affect how we are and who we are. And I'm, it's always just such a mystery and an amazing exploration to go and find these things.
Absolutely. Thank you for your comment, Valerie. Geek, I imagine the children of Ukraine are all very, very traumatized, and and Russia now. Yeah.
Right. And their grandparents and parents have really not known a time where there wasn't.
True.
Because we went think about what was still going on in Germany in the 60s.
Yeah.
And the Berlin Wall.
Yep.
And remember that coming down. I have two pieces of the Berlin Wall because a friend of mine was in Germany at the time and grabbed a box full, but talk about a box of rocks, right? But gave me a couple of pieces. And so it's grandma and grandpa, great grandma and grandpa lived it.
Yeah.
They lived the Nazi regime to begin with, let alone 1912 and what was going on with the Bolshevik uprising. And
that's right.
And those countries, the borders changed so rapidly, like Poland, there's a section of Poland where everybody's called a Kashub, because one day the border's over here and now it's Germany, and the next day the border's over here and now it's Poland, and so everybody's just a Kashub. Whatever.
We're all just earthlings. That's all we are. That's all we are.
Just there to figure it out.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, thank you, Diana, for coming and being our guest as always. And Kate, it was wonderful to be back with you. Thank you to all our wonderful chatters. Yes. And we just love you. We'd be nowhere without you. And thank you so very much. And we'll be back soon. We'll be back.
And you guys can check out my new channel too.
That's right. That's right, Kate. What's the name of it, please?
It's called The Dream Detective.
Oh, it is. Okay. There you go.
It's not easy to find because it's got little tiny videos. They're just really short and sweet. Little sweetness.
So what I want you to do, Kate, is send me a link to it, and then I'll post it on with this so people can get it. Okay?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you again. All right.
I just absolutely love it.
That's great. Yeah. Love you guys. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye, everybody.